Good afternoon. I'll call to order the April 2019 meeting of the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission. First item on the agenda is to consider the minutes from the regular meeting of March 26th and the special meeting of April 12, 2019.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held March 26, 2019, and the special meeting held April 12, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor of the motion to approve those minutes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is to receive and order filed the report regarding utility operations for the month.
Okay, President Heine, I have just a couple comments. First off, in the electric production department, you probably saw in the newspaper that the ash silo has been demolished. That was installed in 1965, but being as we are no longer permitted to burn coal, that was no longer needed. So it was causing a safety hazard, and so we have taken it down. Also, the potential transformer for number 7 gas turbine it says it's been ordered and it's on site. This actually has now been completed. The PO is out for the other 9, which are 16 to 26 weeks out. So we'll wait until we receive those to put, I believe, install 7 of them, and 2 of them will be in inventory. For gas, all of the gas employees successfully completed the operator qualification recertification. This is for performing the joining of pipe, which includes fusing, electrofusion, and the mechanical coupling. And one other comment is we received the new meter reading and configuration equipment that was ordered. The old handheld devices are at their end of life, and so the new equipment is tablet PC based. So there's quite a bit more that we'll be able to use or to do on these equipment. And other than that, I just have the employee of the month. For March, the employee of the month was Dave Neidecker. He is in the power plant as an operator. He's got 39 years of service in the department since 1979. He's done a remarkable job of running the equipment and using his knowledge of the SCADA system and the equipment to ascertain problems and take appropriate actions as needed. He reacts to situations as they arise and handles all issues in a very professional manner. He recently handled an outage on February 2nd, which called for him to call the duty staff, taking calls from customers who were out of power, restarting 2 turbines, and assisting with the restart of the boiler. David is a valued asset in the electric production department and has shared his knowledge to help train others to make the plant run efficiently. So congratulations to Dave Neidecker.
Yes, and thank you from the commission to Dave.
I'll make the motion to receive and order file the report regarding monthly utility operations and approving Dave Neidecker as employee of the month.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to receive a certificate of excellence in reliability.
Okay, if I can just take a moment. The New Ulm Public Utilities was recently awarded a Certificate of Excellence, and this is from the American Public Power Association. It has to do with utilities that rank in the top quarter of the nation in regard to SAIDI, which is System Average Interruption Duration Index. They received the Certificate of Excellence, and basically it has to do with reliability. We submit our information into APPA's web-based subscription service. It's called E-Reliability Tracker, and that basically categorizes and summarizes the outage information for utilities across the nation. And then it is benchmarked against national statistics from the EIA. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize exactly what this award means. It's not often that we are recognized for something that does not happen, but with reliability, that's exactly what we want. The award recognizes New Ulm for the low amount of minutes that we were without power. We all come to expect that our lights turn on when we turn the switch, or that water comes out of the faucets when we turn the faucet, but we don't really realize the effort that it takes to make that happen. And so this is accomplished by our well-trained linemen doing preventative maintenance on our system and before we have problems. And also for the foresight of our electric management team in creating an underground system which is reliable and during storms doesn't the trees don't take out the overhead lines and that type of thing. And then also our citizens for allowing the crews to come in and trim the branches on our distribution lines. So I just want to thank all of our linemen, supervisors, and the citizens, of course, in helping in allowing the New Ulm utility to achieve this recognition.
Terrific, thank you. Good job, everyone. Do we have a motion to receive and order filed the certificate?
I'll offer the motion to receive and order filed the award from the American Public Power Association to the New Ulm Public Utilities Electric Distribution Department of the Certificate of Excellence in Reliability issued March 8th, 2019.
Second.
Any more discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is a presentation by Mr. Persig regarding project updates.
I got the PowerPoint right here, but now I can't get it to open up for some reason.
You should call the IT department.
Yeah, I think I should get the IT guy to get this going. Right. There it is. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. It's come to our attention that there's been some concerns about some of the recent, by the public and other entities, about some of the recent issues that have been brought forward. So this is just a short presentation on what are all the projects we have going on right now to alleviate some of the concerns that we've known about for quite some time, but have been working our way towards resolving. And this is just in the electric department, and this is not even for electric generation or power production. It's just for the substations and transmission and supply. And I've got, I don't know how many projects, so feel free to interrupt anytime you got a question, because I'm just going to walk through all of them very quickly. We've got 5 substation projects going on in different stages right now. One's the potential transformer replacement project, 69 breaker replacement. We got to replace some electromechanical relays with digital relays, but this is tied to another project on changing our supply, which I'll talk about later. And a coordination study for our 69 kVA system, which is also tied to changing our feed. And then substation operations manual and asset management plan set. So the potential transformer replacement project, there are currently 9 PTs on order, as Chris alluded to in her comments. And we will install 7 of them and have 2 sitting on the shelf as spares. We currently have 9 that are deployed or out in service. We've replaced 1 in 2015, and we just replaced 1 on April 16th as an emergency repair. And again, with this long lead time, it took us a lot to find that one as an emergency repair, to not wait the 26 weeks to get it. So that's why we've elected to put 2 on the shelf out in the MDC. And here's the picture of the one going in, I guess it's last week, down there for combustion turbine number 7. Then the 69 kVA breaker replacement, When we started this project, we were just going to replace them because they were having some problems latching at the north side substation, and this is part of changing our feed to the north side. After working with a consultant, and he had talked to the supplier of those switches, which is ABB, they found that there's a overhaul kit basically where they can go in and put some of the hardware back into them new. And the updated new breakers have very limited upgrades to the ones we have. So after that overhaul kit's in place, we should be able to have like new breakers for between a quarter and a tenth of the cost that we were planning on. So that'll be, by taking our time a little bit, it'll be a significant savings. Replacing the electrical mechanical relays with digital relays, this will be part of something that is a project for two reasons. First of all, when we change to 23rd North for our supply, which we'll talk about later in this, it's something that MISO will be and Excel will be requiring, so they can set some of their protection plans and load shedding schemes. So it'll be required in that one. And then you'll see on the second bullet point, by going to the digital relays, we'll be able to better analyze what happens during outage events. It's got a data logger in there so they can go in and see what all happened and what time and how long it took. The electromechanical relays, they're just a mechanical device. When they fail, and they can't tell you anything other than they failed. And I guess I covered the last one. Testing relays, this is mandatory or by our insurance company every 5 years. We're in the middle of this right now. They're going through all of them. There are approximately 225 relays they're doing with a mixture. We do have some digital, but most are electrical, mechanical relays. Coordination study. This also will be tied to changing our feed to 23rd North. Currently, we are approved to have a short duration run, but we haven't done the if there's an emergency, we can use 23rd North, but we haven't done the coordination study to know that we can run that way safely for both Excel and for our hardware for long term. So it's fine as an emergency right now. This study will help Excel and ourselves set all our relays so they look the correct distance back on the system looking for faults. Substation operations manual and asset management plan set. We actually started this 1.5 years ago with the south side sub. We're just getting the final copy of that one done. It's actually signed and supposedly it's in the mail right now. But we'd like to continue probably next year, do the north side and then the power plant substation in the future, ending with our Center Street sub, because that's the most complicated one, so we're kind of going towards the hardest one. What this does is it puts everything onto one plan set, because like our Center Street substation is the original substation. I can't honestly tell you when they installed it, but there's been so many changes in revs with new staff coming on board and contractors trying to figure out what's where. It's getting to be fairly difficult. And this is meant to help be a training device also to help our new people get up to speed. Any questions on the substation projects? Or I'll go on to transmission. We only have 3 projects we're really looking at here. First one, change the feed to 23rd North. Second one is new transmission around the south end tie project and replacing the wishbone structures. Changing the feed to 23rd North. This will help mitigate the woodpecker damaged poles so we can replace those on our time frame. Excel built in the early 2000s brand new steel structures the whole way going across the river, and we have a tie on 23rd North. Very secure. The flood doesn't bother them at all, it seems like. So this is just kind of putting our best foot forward in maintaining protection so we don't see outages with that other line that is compromised. Excel has approved this, like I said, as a temporary backup. But in my conversation with them last week, they haven't got their under-frequency load protection plan in place. And they want that in place before we can either turn it to our permanent feed, 23rd North, or a long-term backup feed, meaning while we take one of the other lines down while we're working on them. It's meant for just short terms right now. The new transmission project to the south end, we just met with the engineers that have a different idea than some of the other ones that you may have heard about, is tying into the 115 bus and putting a whole new substation on Excel's line, which would be very expensive, because basically when you do something like that to the Excel's line, they get to build the new substation and give you the bill for it. And the last numbers that I was hearing, it would be between 12 to 15 million for that. And if we do this end around project, it's very similar to the one that we were looking at previously, but it's going to a different substation. That one was budgeted to come in, very rough engineer's estimate, about 7.5 million, so half the price. And by doing the one that they're proposing, it may have implications of making a transmission provider where we would get paid for our assets that we have serving other communities, or reliability for ourselves. We have yet to start the conversation with other parties about that. We met last week with Excel, or PSC, as I have on the slide, and we'll probably have a proposal next month to start moving forward through the early stages of the design process, or talks with other entities about that project. Again, this is very early in the project, very preliminary. And that one would lead to this project, replacing the wishbone structures. We've heard a lot about them over the last 2 years. We know that they're old, they're compromised. Most wishbone structures are 1960s vintage, so they're 50 plus years old. By waiting to do this one, if we get recognized as a transmission provider and get the other one built, number one, we don't have to run generation or anything like that, which would be more expensive than taking our energy off the grid. And we may get paid by the MISO transmission system a portion to rebuild this line. So again, it both saves us money, both by not running our generation, but also by potentially having another revenue source if we can get that to work. But again, this is very early and we're just starting this part of the project. And then I just added, here's what the 69 kV system looks like. I think everybody's seen this graphic before, probably. This is some of the lengths and ages. I'm not sure exactly when our wishbone structure was built, but everybody kind of agrees that's a early 70s, late 60s vintage. This is what we have at 23rd North. This is actually our wood poles. The steel poles are a little bit further to the left of that picture as you see it. This is our areas where we have wishbone construction. They're kind of along Front Street there, and I think that's Water Street, basically along the bike path down there. And here's a picture of wishbone construction, and you can see the top of the pole is not in the best of shape. But as you drive along in the countryside, there's lots of utilities that have a lot of wishbone structure still out there, but it does need to be replaced. This is just a graphic of the compromised woodpecker crossing the river. This would be right behind the wash plant, and then going over and up the bluff to the Fort Ridgely substation. Thanks for your time, and if you got any questions on these other projects or any other projects that the utility's doing, please feel free.
So these, as you said, these are projects we've been talking about on and off, so I appreciate you bringing them all together. And it sounds like maybe these are things the long-term power committee have been talking about. Are we due to maybe meet again on that coming up?
We're waiting for some results on our integrated resource plan, which is, again, not a project we even talked about here. And we're kind of trying not to waste anybody's time in having a meeting when we actually have good information to talk about. But if we get good information on one of these that we feel should be pulled forward, we will set up a meeting at that time.
Sounds
But
good.
again, it's very, very early in a couple of these projects.
Yeah, so we were waiting on the contractor, and they're overdue, right? They're
Yep.
past. Is any progress on them? And is that, who is that? The,
Sergeant Lundy,
okay, yeah.
or no, Black and Veatch, I'm
Black
sorry.
and Beach, yeah.
Yep, and we just had a meeting with them again today, and we have another meeting with them on Thursday.
Okay. They seem to be coming along.
Yeah, we're going back and forth and making sure that we're getting the best picture, the most accurate picture of both our assets and the options we want looked at for the utility.
Good, thanks.
I'll offer the motion to receive and file the presentation by the utility engineer regarding the City of New Ulm Electric Department 2019 project update.
Second.
Is there any discussion of the motion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have information about the Tom Bovitz Memorial Scholarship winner. Derek?
Good evening. As mentioned, I'm here to talk about the Tom Bovitz Scholarship. So each year, MMUA offers a scholarship in the name of Tom Bovitz, and it was created as a public relations tool for the municipals that are members of MMUA. So the local governing body, this case it would be myself as a representative of the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission, picks a local submission as a representative to send off to MMUA to have them look at it statewide. So all utilities that are members of MMUA have the option to submit a local entry into this scholarship. They have scholarship totals are $5,000, so they range from $2,000 to $500. So the New Ulm Public Utilities local winner for 2019 is Bridget Grothwell, who is a senior from Cathedral High School. And I just am here to thank her for her submission and wish her success in her future schooling and congratulating her on her $500 local scholarship.
And thanks for sharing the essay with us. She did a good job.
Yep.
I'll make motion to receive notice of the New Ulm Public Utilities submittal of Bridget Grothwell's essay to MMUA's Tom Bovitz Scholarship Program and to award Bridget Grothwell a $500 local scholarship.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Derek. New business is Derek as well. To please explain to us the 214 pages of material.
I'm sure you all had the time to read that. I personally haven't had a chance to read all pages of that. It is quite extensive. So I'm trying to summarize what I'm going to present to you. So the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission is charged by Minnesota State Statute 216B.1611 to establish generic statewide standards for the interconnection and parallel operation of distributed energy resources, which you will see in a lot of forms as DER. That's the acronym for that, of no more than 10 megawatts. Late last year, 2018, the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission compiled an updated draft of the DIP, Distributed Energy Resources Interconnection Process, and DIA, Distributed Energy Resource Interconnection Agreement. And within the process of the agreement were attachments that were altered. Under Minnesota State Statute 216B.1611, New Ulm Public Utilities needs to adopt these or similar changes to be compliant under the state statute. Additionally, under 216B.1611, municipalities shall adopt an interconnection process that addresses the same issues as the interconnection process approved by the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission. With that said, municipal utilities can adopt their own distributed energy resource interconnection process. The interconnection process that has been assembled to replace the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission version has been worked on and edited for over a year by many individuals. MMUA and Star Energy Resources LLC were the driving forces helping municipal utilities establish an interconnection process that caters to them and helps bring basic understandings to customers. Many utilities roughly 28 utility personnel, including the New Ulm Public Utilities, provided input to the Municipal Minnesota Interconnection Process, or what is known as MMIP. It is estimated that 75 municipal utilities in the state of Minnesota have attended seminars regarding the implementation of MMIP, and all 124 municipal utilities, electrical utilities, will adopt this as their interconnection process. If not adopted by the local utility, that utility would then fall under the state public utilities. I think there's this called MDIP, Minnesota Distributed Interconnection Process, and that the state public utilities would be their governing body. However, before a decision is made regarding MMIP, there's rules and policy that need to be established. Attached to the agenda is a resolution to have the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission adopt the rules, which are the interconnection of cogeneration and small power production facilities, and the policy, which is regarding distributed energy resources and net metering. These rules and policy, once adopted, will replace the state of Minnesota distributed generation interconnection requirements and allow the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission to adopt and implement MMIP. Once there has been a resolution of adoption, specifically the model rules, the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission, under Part A, Definition Subpart 10, Governing Body, will be the governing body of the New Ulm Public Utilities MMIP. And we need to decide this by June 17th of this year. And what happens if we do not accept these rules and policy and adopt those, and then adopt what is MMIP, we would then fall under, like I stated, the State Public Utilities Commission interconnection process. So along with that, there would also be, the person in my position has to report certain things to the Department of Commerce and the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission. If this would be adopted and our local commission would be the governing body, I would then report to the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission rather than reporting to the state on all but one of my reports. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. It's laid out, it seems intimidating, but it is laid out kind of consumer-centric. It's supposed to be much more easy to navigate than the state process. So I'm not sure if anyone has any or multiple questions that I can try to answer.
So basically, you're talking about customers who want to install their own energy, solar panels or other.
Any type of renewable energy. As of right now, mostly, solar panels.
Right, because we're required to then take the energy they generate into our system and then they
If
get
under
it.
a certain capacity, we're required, and that's why there's net metering, required to purchase back.
Right, and so this is a process by which if the customer decides they want to do this is how they apply for permission to do it, and
Correct.
these are the rules that we follow.
Correct.
And they're easier to follow than what we were previously following, which is what's published by the Minnesota State PUC.
Correct.
Okay.
Well put.
I was totally confused with this, so I did talk to Derek. And after talking to him, I'm going to make the motion to approve the resolution and waive the reading, adopting the rules governing the interconnection of cogeneration and small power production facilities and the policy regarding distributed energy resources and net metering.
Is there a second? We have to do them separately?
I would say let's do them separate
Okay.
since they're so long.
I'll second.
Okay, and any discussion on the motion to adopt the resolution? Okay, we need to call the roll?
Yep. Commissioner Finklin?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
President Heine?
Yes. So that resolution is passed. And then the second one,
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution and waive the reading adopting Municipal Minnesota Distributed Energy Resource Interconnection Process, MMIP.
Second.
any discussion? Okay, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Finklin?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
President Heine?
Yes. Resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to consider natural gas SCADA system equipment. Is Dave presenting on that?
Good afternoon, everyone. Gas Department budgeted $200,000 to put in a SCADA system last year. We received bids from Lake Superior Consulting and In Control, and also Honeywell, which isn't on the list because they didn't meet the scope of work requirements, so we left those out. In Control had the low bid at $96,000 with a full-service electric coming in with the electrical work. The reason for the SCADA system is so that we have faster response to pressure problems and better connection out with the Hutchinson interconnect where our gas supply comes into town. Is there any questions on anything?
So is our motion to consider approval or to approve?
Approve.
Okay. So I'll make the motion to approve the bids from In Control Incorporated with an estimated cost of $96,000 to provide supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, hardware and software, and full service electric with an estimated cost of $16,000 to provide necessary electric connections.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? All those in favor of the motion to approve the bids for the SCADA system, hardware and software, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have an IT request.
Good evening. Let me just make sure I'm on the right item here. A couple of years ago when we implemented our desktop management service or system to manage all our workstations, we started also with a mobile device management system as well at the same time. And that manages all our devices such as tablets, PCs, iPads, cell phones. Originally we bought 25 licenses because we didn't really have a great need for it at the time. Now we have an explosion of mobile devices as employees use more and more items out in the field, and commissioners and counselors use iPads at the front table here. So this mobile device management system continues to manage all those devices, and we've just run out of licenses. So I'm asking for approval to go ahead and purchase additional licenses.
I'll make the motion to authorize staff to purchase mobile device management licenses from SHI in the amount of $3,411.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor of the motion to purchase mobile device management license from SHI, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. And you also have a request for more technology?
I do, as a matter of fact. This is actually, I'm asking for approval to move forward with a technology assessment from Marco Technologies. One of the things that I find is that as an IT director or a supervisor, I can keep up on the technology, but I only see what I see here for the most part. I read about what I see out in the industry, but I'm not a practitioner out in the industry generally. So it is kind of hard to understand what is best practice and what we're doing right and what we could do better. Marco Technologies is a company that works with a lot of other cities, municipalities, local government, many other customers. So they have a lot of eyes out to see what kinds of things are being done out in the field, so to speak. They approached me with an opportunity to do this technology assessment where they come on site with their staff and they look through all of our infrastructure, our workstations, what kinds of processes we have in place, what kinds of things we're doing to prepare ourselves for the future. And then based on what they are able to observe and verify, then they can come back with a report telling us where our risks are, where we might be behind, and what we could do better, and what we can, how we could plan for a roadmap out into the future. mentioned that this isn't necessarily a budgeted expense. It wasn't specifically budgeted for this, but I do have a consulting budget because I only have so much time. And seemed like a really good opportunity to get some good guidance.
So nothing against Marco, but it also kind of sounds like phone calls we get all the time. Like, I'd love to come in and check out everything you've got.
Yeah, it's
Guess
true.
Guess what
It's all
ideas I'm
great,
going to have when we're done.
Yeah, exactly. One of the we have done a lot of purchases from Marco. They have done work for us in the past. They did quite a lot of work for us before I came on board with the utility. They also bought out a vendor that we used quite extensively. We used to use Businessware Solutions extensively, and a lot of their staff are now merged into Marco. Being that we don't primarily use Marco for a lot of our service work, I felt like they could give us an unbiased opinion on the work we're getting from other vendors, maybe. But yeah, I was told it was not going to be a sales pitch in the end, so I hope they honor that.
Sure.
This is like a one-time,
Correct,
they
yes,
come in
this
and
is
check
not,
everything and give you ideas, and then they're done, right?
correct, and
Okay.
then next year we could choose to do this again or not. This is just a one-time analysis. Yep, and like I said in here, they'd be looking at what we have here at City Hall and also at the Public Utility Building. That's primarily where a lot of our technology needs are.
So the $4,500 bill, is that all for a PUC, or is that going to be shared with City Hall? Or
We'll have to talk about that. I'll talk that over with Nicole to see how that should be split out. The thing is the city departments also pay IT, so.
Okay.
Because they're already paying into my budget, and this is a line item that is already in the budget. The consulting line item is already there.
Sure.
It's probably split out fairly evenly, but we'll make sure we discuss that.
Sure. Okay.
I'm making a motion to authorize the purchase of technology assessment services from Marco Technologies in the amount of $4,500.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And next we have an IT request from Mr. Barron.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours, huh? So this is actually the most fun one of the three. So this action item is to request approval for a redesign for our website. Our website, as it currently is designed, was originally put in place in 2013. So that's in technology terms, that's a century ago. And it's starting to show a lot of areas where it's subpar. Citizens are getting frustrated with it. Staff are having a tough time getting information onto it. And there is the added downside that it does look dated. Originally in 2013, GovOffice used our website as their marketing tool because they were able to say, hey, look how great New Ulm's website is. And now today they don't do that anymore. It's because it is dated. They've moved on to different technology. So the proposal we got was from GovOffice, and it is a pretty comprehensive redesign. It gives us their new template, their new technologies. It also involves redesign, and then there's also an additional component where they would analyze all the content that we have on the website and help us decide what should stay, what should go, and help us work with our staff, city departments and utility departments to get the appropriate information out there and how best to have it laid out. Just as a story, occasionally people call IT because we have the word information in our name, and so they call with looking for information. And I did have a resident call who was very frustrated. He couldn't find a number on our website, and he used some choice words to describe the 5 minutes that he tried and couldn't find the right information. And we're starting to hear more and more complaints like that.
I'll just add to that, this is our main source of communication, or one of our main sources of communication with the public. The first thing they see if they're on the website, and it needs to make a good impression, and residents have to be able to find the information within a click of a button instead of digging for information that may or may not be there because it's not where it's supposed to be. So this will help us consolidate that information and get it out there in a concise and clear manner, so it's easier for everyone to use.
President, could I ask, I've spoken to Nate several times about this. Would this include the possibility of reformatting our city code and charter so that you actually would have a search engine you could use to find things?
Yeah, and that may not actually be part of this redesign, but we'll definitely, when they do the content evaluation, when they do the recommendations, we'll see what they have to say about that. We have a few different tools at our disposal for that, and there's more to come with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll offer the motion to approve the agreement with GovOffice for a website redesign and content service with 3-year service package in the amount of $11,350.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's amazing that the people who made and seconded the motion are not voting against it. All night. Motion carries. Okay, we have some utility liens to consider.
Commissioners, this is just something that we try to clean up about once a year and go through some of the accounts and see what's been left out there as uncollectible or sent to collections and why it's out there. Most of these properties are either not occupied currently, either because the owner has been deceased or it's been foreclosed on or whatever the reasons, but these liens would just attach that water and sewer balances to those properties so they could be assessed with the taxes later.
So like in a whole year, these are the 4 unpaid?
These aren't the
Outstanding.
only unpaid
Oh,
ones,
okay.
it's just the ones that would be eligible for the liens at this point.
Okay.
The other ones, we're still working through other channels to try and collect.
Sure. It still is a small number.
How old are these, approximately?
Going by the balances, I'm guessing, and by the names I see here, I don't have the dates. Most of these have probably been accrued over the last, over a period of maybe 8 to 10 months. So they're not that old, but.
Mr. Hippert, does the motion need to include the legal description of each property, or is there a way we can reference it for the record?
I think the motion should identify that. If you were to perhaps, instead of reading them all, if you want to reference the legal descriptions as provided for in the action statement, but at some point we're going to want to make sure we have those in the record.
I'll make the motion to approve the utility liens against the following properties. I'll just read them. That's okay. Lot 6, Block 5, Milford Heights, 1 addition, City of New Ulm, Brown County, Minnesota. EXC Front 85 of Lot 7, Block 55, south of Center, City of New Ulm, Brown County, Minnesota. 1 by 165 of Lot 1 and all of Lot 2, Block 71, south of Center, City of New Ulm, Brown County, Minnesota. N2 of Lot 9 and all of Lot 10, Block 143, south of Center, City of New Ulm, Brown County, Minnesota.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. The last item on the agenda is to consider our list of claims.
I'll make the motion to consider acceptance of list of claims paid in the amount of $2,601,458.04 and approve list of claims to be paid in the amount of $366,732.01.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to accept the list of claims paid and approve the list of claims to be paid in the amounts recited indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And do the commissioners have any other thoughts? Okay, with that, we're adjourned.